Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our Power Hour. We meet here on Tuesday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And our members come into the Zoom room. And so if you are not a member of NACWE but would like to be, we would love to have you. I'm going to do announcements super quick today because we're doing something a little bit different. So today we're having this whole week from now through Friday, a live round of Offer Cure. Offer Cure is the program that allowed me to very first launch my very first thing in the online space. And so, but it's also very applicable to all kinds of offers, whether you're running a special or, trying to get people interested. So it doesn't matter what your business model is. This idea of Offer Cure looks a little bit different in each business model, but it stays the same. And then next week is our members market. A bunch of us got to participate last month for the very first one we ever did. And we are doing it again, which means if you are a member of NACWE, you join us in the Zoom room, and then you get the opportunity to tell the world, well, at least our 14,000 member Facebook page and our 3,500 or so member Facebook group, something like that. So about who you are, what you do, and how you serve. And so it's super fun. I love that day because we get to support each other in all kinds of ways. And so it's really fun. This week, as we're going through this, the times kind of have to jump around a little because it's me, because I need to make sure I can be there to do this. So today, when we get through this part, we are going to be here in the Zoom room going through Offer Cure. Now, Offer Cure is part of a bonus for, let me find it for you guys. So it's part of a bonus that when our people pay in full, I'm going to drag it over here, that they get. And so I want to show it to you. So if you are a yearly member of NACWE and you've paid in full, in your members area, there's directions to get this Irresistify bonus. And this Irresistify bonus is, I want to say like $3,000 worth of stuff, you guys. So here's Offer Cure. This is what we're going to do the live round of this week, which means, right, we're using this program, which was the first program that led me in creating my offer, as well as all of my coaching and implementation, right? Those two things combined together creates our Offer Cure live round. But when you're in there, you have all these bonuses for Offer Cure: how to revive a dead offer, some productivity hacks, right? How do I know it'll convert? And also you have access to Funnel RX, which is once I start putting my offer out there, how do I know what good conversion numbers are? So Funnel RX is all about the tech and the numbers. Let me just say it that way. And then all these different slide decks and the same one, lead magnet templates, which look like workbook templates, in all these different styles, and then a whole bunch of logo templates in all those different styles. So you, as a yearly paid in full member of NACWE, have access to all of this. Just sign into your members area, NACWEmembers.com. Sign in. If you don't remember your password, just hit forgot password. It'll let you in there. And then click on the yearly member bonuses, and it's right in there called Irresistify. And it tells you exactly how to get into that. So today we're going to kick off Offer Cure. And then we're going to continue to do that this week. Tomorrow, I'm going to be exactly in this same members Zoom room at 9 a.m. And then Thursday and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So noon Eastern, 4 Eastern. Okay. So join us. If you're a monthly member of NACWE and you want all of those, all the ones in Offer Cure, not all the, well, if you want all of those things, just upgrade your membership to yearly. It's super easy, right? If you want Offer Cure to be able to join us this week, it's like $37. I have the link for you. It's actually super easy. It's NACWE.com/Offer Cure. That's it. Okay. So feel free to do that. If you're not a member though, and you want to join us for this implementation week, you can go to NACWE.com/full Offer Cure, which will then include this implementation and the coaching around your offer and all of that. And so that's what we're doing this week. And I think if you're not a member and you want all of it, it's like this full package, it's $197. So join us. We'd love to have you. And again, it's how I got my first offer out the door, and I've used it for every single offer since, no joke. Okay. Here's our in-person networking. If you're in one of these areas, we would love to have you. Last week on Thursday, we did our virtual networking, and it was super fun. Annette, who's in the Zoom room now, was in there as well, a few other people. And so join us July 20th for the next one. We would love to have you. Our Wisdom Well for our members is Thursday, July 13th and Friday, July 21st. So that's what's coming up there. Co-working July 5th in the morning. And we have each and every single Monday, we have a prayer call. It's at 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 Eastern. And you guys, I can't even explain what happens to my week when I begin this way in prayer with my NACWE sisters. And it is just, I don't know, like we all know the power of God. And then he shows up in that room, like I promise you, because it's a good way to start the week. And it's just a powerful time in prayer. That's all I don't even have words for it, honestly. CRE conference, put it on your calendar, October 25th through the 27th, NACWE.com/links. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven, right? So I love this verse when we're talking about offers, because as our past president, Karen Limbaugh-Borg says, right, like if you're not going to toot your own horn, somebody, who else will, right? Like if you're not going to tell people how good your stuff is and how you serve people and how we show Jesus through you, right? Nobody else is going to. So we do want them to see the good things we're doing, not for our glory, for the Father's glory. And so pretend that every single person you meet has a sign around his or her neck that says, "Make me feel important." Why? Because they are important, right? Not only will you succeed in sales, you will succeed in life. So, and that's Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay. So Father God, thank you. Thank you for each and every person in the Zoom room. Thank you for anybody watching live. Father, I just ask that you go before them, give them a path, make their way straight, so that they may glorify you, Lord. I ask that you give them clarity and direction. And as we talk about offers for moving forward this week, that we're thinking of offers in order to help people, right? That's the whole point. And so we love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen, amen. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, shoot. Lindsay, are we still live? Okay. I just want to double check. I can't see you either. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to walk through, if you're here in the Zoom room, how to get into Offer Cure in case you haven't yet. If you have, great, and we'll start from there. If you are in the anyway, we'll just go from there. If you want to join us, all of these are being recorded. We will be keeping them in the members area. Or if you choose to just purchase the Offer Cure with the coaching and implementation, then we would love to have you as well. And all the replays will totally be available. Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so as we walk through this, I'm not gonna, we can unmute here in the Zoom room because it's just us. We're off the live. So it's all good. And I want to make sure that you have been able to get Offer Cure. If yes, okay. Annette, were you okay? Susan, you have it, I think. Yeah, okay. And Hope, okay. And Danica, do you have it? You're muted. We can all probably unmute, probably fine.
I haven't checked. I can go check.
Okay. Either way, if you can just listen for now too, if you want to. But you can go watch that and you'll see, I just want to like hit the basics of it and then actually do it in here, right? Like that's the point of all of this is actually implementing. So when we start Offer Cure, the first thing to do, step one, is answering what she calls the big 8 questions. So let's do this in the chat if you guys would like. So who are you serving, right? So who is your human? Remembering that they're human. And I want to say this about this. If you like are as specific as possible, especially for like, remember, we're only talking about one offer, right? So it doesn't have to be like who you talk to all the time. Who the offer that you're thinking out of, who is it for? Who's the one human? I like to say when we're talking about this, like you should be able to see their face, right? So a woman between 30 and 60 who are tired of feeling like crap and having their doctor tell them nothing is wrong with them. And that, do you have a client that this applies to who would like, if you had 100 of them, of her, right, you would love it, right? Yeah. So so as you create whatever you're thinking of, like think of her, right? Think of that very specific person. So Sherry said, woman around 40, working, busy, knows she's stressed and feels too busy to do anything different. And she's smart and creative and funny. I like that. So do you have somebody in mind as well, Sherry, who you can like, this person needs all of these very specific things, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of, well, they're on my other business, but yes, two that I can think of off the top of my head that fit that. And one actually wrote me a very beautiful, testimonial and thank you. So it was really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. I don't know where that went just now. Okay. Okay. So let me close this. I have way too many screens open in this whole process. Okay. Susan, do you have somebody in mind in particular?
People doesn't have to necessarily be women.
Yep.
Who want to be a part of an explorative community that is low stress and has a comfortable atmosphere and is inclusive.
Okay. So in the world of food community, without telling us who, because I don't want to know that I'm not your favorite. No. Find out who your favorite is. Right. And we're going to talk to them, and it might be him or her or like a couple even, right? Like that could be. So who are you serving? We got that. What problem are you solving? Again, the more specific, the better, right? What problem are you solving? Hope, I don't know if you can unmute or right all of any of that, but Okay. So Annette, what problem are you solving?
It's really hard for me to answer because I solve so many problems.
Mhm.
I guess my favorite thing to solve is infertility.
Okay. So specifically on this one, how to do what in order to, like, what's the, does that make sense? So if I put it in a how-to statement, how to,
How to get
Uh-huh.
pregnant without IVF.
perfect. Yep. So I'm teaching them how to get pregnant without IVF. Like, that's super specific. I love it. How about you, Susan? No problem, Hope.
What problem am I solving? Isolation.
Okay. So how to be connected, right? Even if they're at home all alone, right? Something like that.
You know, or how to be connected any way possible. In as
Yeah.
many ways as possible.
Okay. So how to not be lonely. What did you say the first time?
Isolation.
Isolation. How to not feel isolated. Like, the thing that just came to my mind was like how to not feel isolated even when you're in a room full of people. Right? So Sherry said she believes the only way to be less busy and less stressed is to do the standard yoga, exercise, etc. And she doesn't have time for any of that, and she doesn't want to do those things. So she's solving the stress issue without taking up a lot of time, and to stay calmer, which is not even something she's aware is possible, right? So that's the hardest piece, right? Because we're going to talk about that tomorrow, like the unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware. So this unaware part is the part you got to tell all kinds of stories around. And it might be like, I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while I'll go to the massage therapist and they'll hit a spot and I'm like, I didn't even know that hurt until you touched it, right? That might be
That's
a
my
good
mantra with the massage therapist. I'm like, whoa.
I didn't even know that was a problem. So specifically, the problem you're solving is how to remain calm.
Mhm. Emotional balance is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Find and stay in emotional balance. And generally people don't know that that's even a thing.
Okay. Yeah. How to find. And so Annette said, how to stop feeling like crap without drugs or surgery. That's good too. Yeah.
Hey, Heather, can I chime in a minute? I think my audio's even, so a lot of things that I do is, and I hope this answers it, is overcoming fear. People usually have a lot of fear when it comes to people that I'm helping in my business. So just overcoming those objectives, they're looking for permission almost to say, this is what's wrong. And my job is to guide them. So it sounds like we're drilling down and finding out who our ideal candidate is here.
Yep.
And mine is, I found to be around between the ages of, I guess, 35, 45. I'll put a name to it, Bethany. She was an ideal client. She's an interior decorator. She knew exactly what she wanted. She had an aversion to debt. And we had very direct lines of communication where it felt like we were just on the same page. So that would, if I were to pick my avatar, it would be somebody like her.
I love it. And I absolutely love when you can look at a client and go, okay, they're absolutely the best avatar. And because you know then who you're talking to, right? You're talking to Bethany without saying Bethany, right? Sherry said she named hers Olivia. Absolutely. Yeah. So the next one is, what is the prevailing wisdom? So Sherry already sort of hinted at hers, right? Yoga, exercise. Yeah, that's what they think is going to work.
Yeah.
So what is it that they think is going to work? Hi, Stephanie. First, welcome to NACWE and welcome to NACWE Atlanta. We're excited that you're joining us. We're just walking through the big 8 questions from OfferCure. And so what they have been so far, I guess I could actually put them in the chat. Who do you serve? She decided to leave. Okay. Who do you serve? What problem are you solving? She is a member, Lindsay, just recently. Like I just looked at it. And then, so what is the prevailing wisdom? So in other words, what do they think? What are they trying? What is everybody telling them is going to help?
To go on a vegan diet.
Go on a vegan diet? Yeah. Yep.
Which is the worst thing you could do.
Interesting. The weight, yeah. Hope said people are telling them the prevailing wisdom is just to wait, especially within interest rates. They're like, don't buy now, interest rates are high. Like, really, it's okay. What about you, Susan? What's the prevailing wisdom around isolation? Just get around people?
Get around people, and in community, food community, it's, oh, buy a cookbook, watch a documentary, get on Pinterest, go to a restaurant, but that's not keeping you from isolation.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was the next question. So what's wrong with that wisdom? And you just said that, right? Like it's not helping their isolation. So if the problem is isolation, right, doing all those things. Sherry said that they don't actually address the true issue. Yeah, they miss opportunities because of fear, Hope said. So in that, what would you say, like, everybody tells you just to eat vegan. What's wrong with that?
It takes vitamin A out of the diet, and you cannot make a baby without vitamin A. Can't do
Got it.
without it, actually.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so what's wrong with that wisdom, right? And then number 5, how are you different? Your product, how is what you have different?
Well, I'm different because I actually get to the root cause, which is stress, which leads to a mineral imbalance, which causes our symptoms, and stress that leads to thoughts and feelings that cause us to hold those symptoms in our body. So I deal with the stress, the mineral imbalance, and the thoughts and feeling.
Okay. And you have a framework around that, right, Annette?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. How are you different, Susan?
I offer multiple ways to get out of the isolation, not just physical isolation, but the isolation of thinking.
Okay.
In person, on Zoom, Facebook, emails.
Yeah. And I think at this point too, you could also say, we're an intimate community, a small intimate community that really cares about each other. So there's some like marketing knowledge or wisdom, right, that says when you're little, you emphasize why being little is great, right? We're a small intimate community. That's the best part, right? And then when you're bigger, you emphasize why being big is great. So, there's more people to connect to. The hive mind is stronger, like that kinds of things. So Sherry said, women are told so often that they don't look good, don't fit a standard, and it impacts their self-esteem and confidence. So that's what they focus on. None of it's true to the issue. None of it is the true issue. The true issue is our emotional brain. We learned what worked once and we don't want that to work anymore. Is that right?
The true issues are our emotional brain learned ways to be that worked once and don't work anymore. So what I do that's different is I cooperate with the emotional brain. Our brain is an emotional brain for real change that lasts using very simple, proven techniques that have huge benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Hope, how are you different?
Oh, I think I just wrote it in the chat.
Oh,
So,
did you? Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect.
so I'm a native Tucsonan, so I have a great working knowledge of Southern Arizona. I've been here my whole life. I'm licensed in the entire state of Arizona. I have residential and commercial appraisal background, over 5 years and 5,000 logged hours, which gave me, you know, it helps me be a better realtor, right? Because I'm able to pull up comparable market analysis and tell people, you know, what a home may be worth, so they can make a fair offer. So that helps. And another value add, I suppose, is I've opened up Scottsdale, Sierra Vista, surrounding areas, Phoenix, to areas that I serve.
Okay. Yeah, I would say too, for you, the things that I think make you different, and you can, you know, take these, but are on that more connection and emotional side, right? Like I'm gonna look for what you're gonna look for what serves them best. Like, you know, you're not pushing an agenda. I've never known you to push an agenda. And you're pretty like blunt and straightforward. And so it's a really good thing when okay, so many times with realtors, people are used to them blowing smoke. Just gonna say it, right? And you don't have any of that to me, which is good.
Well, thank you for that, Heather. You know, one of the things I was going to say, I think I've said this, is nobody's going to care as much as I do. That's how I feel. I feel like I very much genuinely care for my clients, and it's just a start of a relationship, which is, I believe, maybe how everybody should look at it is, you know, it's a start. I have a much easier time of helping somebody and then becoming a friend versus a family or a friend to convert to a client. Sometimes it goes that way, but yeah, I think people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, as somebody who's married to someone who doesn't have a high affection for realtors, right? And it's because he feels like they'll tell you anything to make the sale. And that's just not you. It's never been you. So I do think it sets you apart, even though we should expect it, we can't. Sherry said she's also been a trauma therapist for 10 years, high level skill. Yep. And truly knows what works. Okay. When you tell people, this is one of my favorite questions. When you tell people all of this that we've talked about up to this point, when you tell them yoga isn't going to, and exercise is not going to get them there. When you tell them like the vegan diet is not the end all be all, right? All of those things. What are they going to tell you to counter you? What are they going to say to you to counter you?
For me, they'll probably start talking about all the scientific support for a vegan diet.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Heidi. She might be at the church. So statistics, articles, and news. Yeah, my dad says every time.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love that. My dad says. Yeah, I think the big one, right, in the news, the interest rates, the the economy is failing, the world's collapsing, right? Like all those things. Like, let's just stop living just in case.
I think for me, people just have no clue what I'm talking about. So I've kind of started recognizing that, make it kind of a challenge. So I'm kind of working on challenges, little, not challenging, what they're saying, but I'm like, okay, just try this. Try this
Right.
for one day. Just try it. It'll take you 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 2 minutes there. That's it. Try it. Let me know. If it works for you, hit me up. Doesn't work for you, what have you lost? And I know
Right.
it'll work.
These are all of these questions mushed together. I'm trying to make them. We'll see if it works. Yes, it did. Okay, I'm going to spread these out so Heidi has them all. So then, Susan, what are they going to tell you?
Well, in not so many words, it's, I don't have time to think. I don't have time to have fun doing something new that's unstressful.
Yeah.
Something inexpensive. I don't have time to add that. I'm too stressed. I have too much on my plate.
Yeah. Okay.
That I don't have time, it resonates with my target audience too. Everyone just assumes it's going to take time. It's going to be, oh my gosh, one more thing I have to do. And that's really not the truth.
Do you think maybe they're a little bit afraid too of being emotionally vulnerable?
Yeah, I think the word emotion, nobody wants to actually acknowledge that we have an emotional brain. We think we can think our way out of things. And I'm like, yeah, how's that work so far?
Yeah. Yeah. So what are the things, let's say they buy in to your thing, right? They bought in, they're all in. What might keep them from having success? Like what might keep them?
For mine, it's unrealistic expectations. So I have to be very clear about what to expect.
Okay.
We want the instant one and done. It's like, well, you will get instant, but it's not one and done because nothing in the human life is one and done. You don't have one drink of water for the year and you're done.
I was gonna say, you have to keep feeding your
You have to
kids
keep
3 times a day.
I know, it's so annoying, right?
Darn.
You have to keep coming up with dinner plans every single day. Yeah.
Every single day, right, Susan?
Yeah.
You have to keep doing that silly laundry.
Right?
It never goes away.
Well, I have a
Take a
cure
shower.
for the dinner plans.
Yeah.
Mhm. You only have to do it one time and never have to do it again.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
I
I like
know.
that.
Mhm. I think for my people, probably, it requires work to change your eating habits and exercise and sleep and, do all the things. So getting out of there, I guess maybe changing their habits is the hardest thing.
Okay. Yeah, so what might keep them from having success would be falling into old habits,
Yeah.
right?
I hear that a lot. I'll have somebody come back and say, oh my gosh, I've gotten so stressed out, this, that, and the other. And then I'll ask them, so what was the last of these things, of the things that you've done before that you've been doing? Was the last time you did it? Oh, well, oh gosh, I haven't done that for a while. I'm like, I think there's a direct correlation. I say it way nicer than that, but
Oh, I know.
And just to
We're all
be clear, there's
fine.
nothing wrong with exercise and yoga and meditation. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is there's a whole set of really simple things we can do anytime, anywhere, all throughout the day, and not have to wait until that exercise, that yoga. That's the issue.
Right. Yeah, so all those things are good and they help, but they don't necessarily help if you're stuck in the office, right?
Right.
They don't necessarily help when you're trying to get the kids out the door for school.
Right. And what they really, those kind of things tend to do, they do great, you know, obviously release endorphins and relieve whatever stress you're carrying. It doesn't necessarily, though, give you a different way of approaching your life, which is what I do.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you get out what you put in. I know in my group, people will join. Oh yeah, this is really exciting food. I like to go all over the world. And then, you know, they don't put any time into doing it. You know, how long does it take to answer a post on a Facebook group? How long does it take to, you know, decide on what restaurant we want to go to tonight? Oh, maybe we'll try Vietnamese. You know, how long does it take? And it also takes time to make a habit. One and done isn't a habit.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, you have to have your mindset. I'm going to make a habit to be a part of this. And that's hard to do.
Yeah. Heidi, did you get caught up to us in all these? Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of thinking through this. I mean, you know, similar to some of the stuff that Sherry was talking about, the main thing that gets in the way is the thing in the first place, right? Like it's that, you know, you hear all the time, I know what I need to do, I'm just not doing it. So like coming up with sort of the accountability structure that helps them stay focused on it.
I love how things circle around for me when I'm doing this. Like we were in BNI this morning and the education was on like the idea that success, everybody knows how to get there. We know how, right? It's just the doing, the actually putting the time in and doing. So yeah.
Well, it's finding that the formula, right? How do you move from knowledge to action? So whether you need support, whether, you know, it all depends on your own, you know, in my world, your saboteurs, right? The things that are going to sabotage your success are different for different people. But once you know them, it can help you interrupt that cycle.
Yeah. I just wrote that question down because I like it. How do you move from knowledge to action? I need to post that somewhere in my house, maybe all the places in my house.
Well, and I don't know whether you were here, Heidi, but you know, your saboteurs and our sages, we give them names. And somebody had names. One of the first questions was, did you have a name to a person who fits that category? So, you know, that kind of, when you have that problem, if you can say that name, you can really hone in on it.
Susan, I may say this because it's regarding health. I think our biggest, I think it's us. When we look in the mirror and we see ourselves. I mean, I lost weight a while back and I looked at myself and I almost said it in reverse. I said, how could you get any more beautiful? Like, how could you get any hotter? Right. And I said those things and I started believing it every day, like more of an affirmation. And I would wager to say that it's on us. I mean, and but people, I would also say that they need to change their verbiage as far as saying, oh, I don't have time. You know, what you were saying, Susan, they haven't made it a priority, if I may say that. So it's just a flip of the switch. It's not that people don't have time. We all have the same hours in a day. If you work out for an hour a day, that's 4% of your day. I'll speak for myself. I know I'm my own biggest critic. You quit your day job to be your own boss, then you start not liking your own boss, which is you. You see what I'm saying? But I find through prayer and through God working on me, it's amazing what can happen. treat
Yeah.
it like an appointment. You know, I thought, well, what would a healthy person do? They'd be at the gym at 5 every morning, went to the gym at 5 every morning. And then sure enough, my eating habits followed suit. You know, I wanted to eat healthier. So amazing how that goes.
Yeah, I love that. Go over and speak scripture over yourself until you believe it. Lindsay said, yep. I said, I'm the problem is me. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny again, how all this stuff kind of wraps around. Because right, scripture says, as a man thinks, so he is.
Yeah.
So when Hope is talking about like affirmations, people are like, oh, that's kind of woo-woo, but it is scriptural, right? Like telling your brain how to think about yourself is a thing. Just like telling our kids that they are strong and powerful and mighty, right? And children of God and all those things makes a difference in them. Telling yourself all those things makes a difference in you too. Right? I
Well,
love
and
it.
also, you will find what you seek.
Yeah, for sure. I just did an interview with Julie Anderson the other day, and she was a speaker for us a little while back. And she does a lot of the same kinds of things Sherry's talking about, and Annette's talking, like you guys are really good referral partners for each other, all three of you really. But it's, yeah, like the mirror neurons in our brain. Apparently we have more of them than any other species, along with dogs. Dogs have a lot of them too, apparently. So yeah, it's just interesting. Okay, so 8, we're going to talk about what kind of offer this will be. So I want you to think about your offer. You're solving this problem. And we have 2 options, right? We have a presentation offer, and Sherry has both of these, I'm just going to say. Right? She has a big, it typically costs a little bit more. Right? We need to tell people more things about it before they can come in. And then, so that's, and then the next one is an unboxing offer. So we think of it like this: if you take that presentation and pull out all the pieces, right? We're unboxing it and showing all the pieces to somebody. Then is one piece of that a lead in for the whole thing, right? We call that an unboxing offer. Or it could be something that leads into what we're doing. So it could be the first logical step to the thing that you're talking about in your bigger program. So it can be one of those, right? There's other, so this is more like, what is the sales mechanism that we're going to use depending on what kind of offer it is? So do you need to do workshops and a webinar or something like that for a big presentation offer? That's why it's called that, because you need kind of a presentation in order to sell it, right? The unboxing one typically can be a smaller priced offer, and it ends up being either the first step or a piece of, right? It's just that smaller piece. So I'm going to write, what kind of offer will this be? So for the purposes of offer cure this week, I want you to just pick one, right? So you're either going to talk about the little piece or the piece that leads in. And if you only have the bigger piece, maybe focusing on an unboxing offer is the best option. Because you can create something then that will lead people in, but presentation is fine too. I'm gonna pull over somewhere. I have it here. There it is. All of you have, right? So one big package sold through a presentation. It's your flagship or main offer, and it tends to cost more. The unboxing offer is unboxed into pieces. There's no presentation. It's typically less expensive, And a lot of times it's intro projects, not always, right? It could just be the first step. So for example, getting ready to do, and all of NACWE members, well, they're free anyway, but you guys will all have this too, 4 workshop series on leads. Because a lot of people talk about how they need more clients or need more customers, or need more sales. And what they fail to recognize is they've just like used up all their leads, or they're still talking to the same people. They need more people, right, to see their stuff. And so, so after, like, if I do something on leads, probably the next thing I'm going to do is something on sales, right? Because if you want more clients, you have to get them in your world, and then you have to actually ask for the sale. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen for just a minute, because okay, so Sherry said her unboxing offers a 1-hour live virtual overview. And the audience fully experiences several of the techniques to calm in a minute or less. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see this. In OfferCare, you have access to this sheet. You just go in, download it. Let me see if I can find where. I just want to show you where it's at in your thing. Get out of here. Okay, in your Irresistify one, if you go into offer creation right here, in the first one, this button here is what will get you this spreadsheet. When you click it, it opens up and you just have to make a copy of it so that you can create your own, okay? So we're over here, and this is as we're putting it together. So we talked about unboxing and we talked about presentation. And so the main reason we were asking, right, is because those two things look different. The unboxing offer is you're telling them about all the pieces. And then really what you need with it is an OTO, which sometimes will be your bigger offer, right? Like a discount or some special on your one-time. So OTO stands for one-time offer. And basically I'm going to go over here. What they're saying, this is, you guys have access to all of this in OfferCare, right? Is they call this the rainbow rule. And it's basically the number of different colors you can put in there, the better your offer is going to sell and be. So if you look at these, like all these in this like light pinkish color are all written, right? PDFs, their workbooks, playbooks, all that kind of stuff. And then the blue, these couple blues are just audio or like membership, summits, masterminds, right? That kind of stuff. These are all courses, course type things. These are all one-on-one type things. So coaching, consulting, retreat, event, some kind of support or accountability group. Right? So as many of these kinds of things as you can put in here, the better. So I'm thinking of, let's say Sherry's. Remind me, Sherry, of what the title of that little workshop is?
Calm in a minute strategies.
Calm in a minute. Why I couldn't think of it. Right, Calm in a minute strategies. And it's not a course, it's a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for. If I help if I start typing it. Be smarter than the thing. Okay, so it's pink. do they get any kind of PDF with, so here's the features
Yeah.
of this, right?
They get two.
So go ahead.
They get 2 PDFs.
Okay, so what are they called?
Okay, now I have to remember. I think one is to start your steps to start your day calm, have a calm morning. And the other one, darned if I remember right now.
Okay, but some other kind of PDF.
Oh, 10 additional calm and I was almost going to ask you, Danica, I was like, what's the other one? 10 calm and 10 additional tips for ways to calm in a minute or less.
So 10 additional feels more bonus, right? Like, oh, and in addition,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it feels more bonus to me. So I would put that down here.
Why do you say that? What difference are you
Why?
making?
Because I don't need the 10 additional strategies to get the benefit of the workshop.
Oh.
Right? So it's like this extra thing that, oh, I get 10 more. That's amazing.
Okay.
I like, yeah. Anyway, so the more things, so if you wanted to, the more things you can put in here. So look through and they gave you a list. So I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying like it's a possibility, right? If you wanted to do some kind of prayers or meditations as an audio file, right? Like you could do something like that. That could also be a bonus. I probably would put it down there. But the more the different colors you can get in here, the better, right? So
What about like a live Q&A? Does that count for something?
yes, it does. Let me see what they called it. I think that's more like, why is that not helping me?
And you're
That-
also doing what do you call it? Like a role playing practice session. I don't know what
That's part of the workshop. That's true. So part of the
Yeah.
workshop is,
So these
I
are
mean,
the
they're
features
actually,
of
it's
the workshop.
interactive.
interactive. Yeah.
So let me see whether if they have that here or what it would be called, activity. Let me see if there's anything here that I like for that. Call it a tutorial. It's not really a tutorial though. A toolkit maybe?
Yeah.
Role playing? Maybe. Right, so the point is that the more different ways, and I kind of talked about this when I talked about offers, I just talked about it in terms of learning styles, right? People are going to connect with these things differently. So the more you can get different types of things in here, yes, a podcast, Hope asked about a podcast, unboxing offers, no BS meal planning workshop. Nice, I like that. Okay. If you're doing a presentation offer, right, you're using a webinar or a workshop to sell the big thing. So for you, Sherry, this will be the bigger program, right? Or at least the first third of it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
For Annette, it might be, Annette, what would your main offer be?
I have an 8-week program.
Okay. So maybe go through this presentation style offer worksheet and put in everything that's in there and just start seeing, like, is there something I can add that will make this more I want to say sellable, right? It's that tipping point. Right? It's the tipping point of the thing. And it's different. This is why you want to include a bunch of different colors, right? Because that tipping point's different for different personalities and different people. Right? They're like, oh, I get to listen to the audio file while I drive down the road. I'll buy it. Like whatever that is for them, right? If you can include like the Q&A time, right? All that. So what I want to do between now and tomorrow, I see you guys in the morning, maybe at 9 my time, is see if you can run your offer through this worksheet and add in some stuff. And what we will start the day with is if there's any pieces that you're like, I kept trying to think of something and I just can't think of something, we'll spend a few minutes first thing just brainstorming some of those things together, right? So that, but I want to, that's easier to do when we can see what you already have, right? When we can see what you already have for it. So like Susan's, I know has a community, they get PDF stuff, like there's a lot included in that. So but if we can look at it, then we can brainstorm it better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds great.
Any
Okay, so you're asking us for tomorrow to have something that we can put in the chat?
just nope. Do you have this worksheet, Susan?
Oh, the one that you were just doing with the colors?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You should have it in your version of OfferCare. If not, I know all you guys are yearly members, so I can just send it to you if you don't have it up.
I don't have it now, but you know, I can look for it.
Yeah, I can also share this one. It might make it easier. Just remember to make a copy of it because otherwise you guys will be writing over each other's. Right.
Can I add something? I
Yes.
haven't talked much, but I was thinking about all of us kind of have the same thing. Like, obviously what you're doing isn't working. And I had a friend, she's always said, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I think that's just a really good phrase to help people mindset shift, right? Like, you've never tried not eating vitamin A or you taking the, you know, like you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by joining our eating program or connection program, or I can't remember everything you do. I just like that phrase. So wanted to pass
No,
that
I
on.
love it.
I was thinking about this across my multiple weird jobs that I do, which doesn't even include stuff like this, right? Like I have
Right.
Freedom Suite where people are stuck. And then I have the Intentional Ministries, my company, where people are stuck and I help them move forward, whatever that means. Like, I don't know, it could be a power page, could be, and then I have my hope side of my own ministry where people are stuck. And I'm like, and I was like doing this across the board with my 3 things that God has called me to do. And I'm like, same answers, right? Stuck.
Yeah.
They need healing. They need hope. They need to move forward, propel. And it's just like, this was really good exercise for me as I'm going through it. And I wrote down your questions, the big 8. And it's like, we all had the same answer. Why isn't it working? Because you're not following through, right? Like Operation Freedom Sweep. You do 1 sweep and you think you're done. Well, when have you ever cleaned your house once? Never, right? Like you clean it daily, right? You know, like we need to clean our heart. Or when do you go, oh, well, I'll just do my website once, or I'll just make 1 presentation once, Sherry. No, you know, so I don't know. It was, for me, it was, I'm sitting there listening going, this is really an epiphany moment. So just want to say thank you for sharing the big 8.
I love it.
Can I share the sister page that I made in the group today? So they have
Yeah,
those.
of course.
Okay,
Yeah, we would love it. I would love that because you're right. Then we do have those questions. So Hope asks if I recommend choosing something that comes naturally to you or something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Yeah, probably a little bit of both. So the problem with our zone of genius is it does come naturally. And so we think it's no big deal and everybody else thinks it's a huge deal because they can't do it. Right. So that is where I say like in your comfort zone. But as you're going through these different things, you'll see, let me show you one more thing. There is a spot in there. Let me get it back up here. Hang on. Okay, let me share with this one. Right here that tells you this, but there's a, let me find it. Nope, that's the MV4. There is a, here we are, right here. There is in your offer care thing, this idea bank. So sometimes it helps to like read through like, oh yeah, I could create an ebook on, right? So reading through this helps in those different things like, okay, what could I do with this? Right. And so that piece will push you out of your comfort zone. I'm getting ready to do, like I mentioned, the 4 workshop series on leads. And then I'm following it up, I think, with a sales challenge because I want to see, I really want to see people who are in the group and I'm talking about making sales that day and come back in and say, I made a sale today. Like that's really what I want out of that. Or a sales boot camp. You know, a lot of these two are the same. But yeah, so you can look through these. I think consulting could have been the Q&A thing. You could make tools. Tools, people love tools, right? Trello boards, calculators, slide deck templates. So I also, once I, like this week, should have this thing out. You guys might love this actually. You know, when you're in the waiting room for here and you see the slideshow while you're waiting. So my friend Brittany Long and I put together a course on building that little slideshow for your Zoom room and like what to include in it and where to put all the things. And it has a template. It has, you know, the video walkthroughs. It has how to change all the colors in Canva, like all that stuff. And so like all those things together, right, gives them like the slide deck templates and stuff like that. I should probably run it through this, but it's a $9 offer. I don't want to run it through it too much. Need to concentrate on that. Well, I mean, the workshop series is free, but so it doesn't matter. That's the other piece here, right? Like it doesn't matter if your offer is free or $9 or $27, right? And it's still, it's crazy, but it still has to have all the components, right? And you're like, but this is a lot for this. Yes. So if you serve them well at $9, imagine what you can do at $600. Right? Okay. It's 10 after, and I want to respect everybody's time. And I want to give you some time to look at this spreadsheet and this worksheet and walk through. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the morning. Thanks, Sherry.
Can you tell us what time it is in the morning again?
9 Pacific, noon Eastern.
Save the chit chat.
Because I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go to the Women Network luncheon. If anybody is in Tucson and wants to come with me.
So is that just for tomorrow? Or are you doing it?
Yeah,
like-
so it's 9 tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday are both at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Like my little counting. How's the baby, Heidi? Heidi's grandbaby.
Adorable. So incredibly distracting, spoiled rotten, never gets put down. It's really hard to work multiple businesses and never put the baby down. So
Gotta do what you gotta do.
but it's been great.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Zanika. That's so pretty. So I love it.
That's correct, right? I just put in the times,
Yes,
your time. Okay.
Pacific. Yeah. Pacific. Okay. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, there we go.
Thanks,
There's
Evan.
that image. Bye, guys. Thanks.